Okay, the computer's talking to me. Yeah, sorry guys, I've been offline for about 10 days. Everything broke down, my car, my phones, my computer, and my hair. So I took getting them all fixed. But like, this is alarming news. I meant to do my May update, or I meant to do a John Patterson update, but I'm so grateful, not only for my subscribers, but I've got a couple of groups I managed to rescue from the Facebook censorship purge. And one of them was my mind control group. And so somebody has told me that they have nabbed the Hampstead mother off Gibraltar, which is close to Morocco, where Abraham Christie, who is an international hemp advocate and expert, is residing. So I'm going to ramble a bit. I'm just coming on live in complete shock. So I lived in Gibraltar, RAF Gibraltar, on North Front, on Eastern Beach. And I went to the Loreto Convent up the mountains and was taken on secret drives in the tunnels. And my sister was taken to what I believe was a Illuminati party for Donovan's 21st in the caves of Gibraltar. Gibraltar's got a lot of history. It's got Army, Navy, and Air Force based there. And I lived there for 3 years from the age of 5 to 8, you know, but pretty deep in the MK Ultra projects by then. But one funny story, my father, as you know, part of the Royal Air Force, told us was that like vast amounts of cannabis, ganja, weed, I don't know what you called it back then, you know, would be confiscated in Gibraltar because clearly Moroccan black and all the rest of it, you know, that was a big gateway. Morocco, Tangier, Algeciras. It was a big gateway for drugs to Europe. And there was this hilarious story Dad came home with that the Gibraltarian police were supposed to dispose of all the drugs they'd confiscated, and they allegedly had a big fire on the beach and they all got stoned, and it was supposed to have been hilarious. You know, and I've realized in adult, sorry, I got my hair done. What do you think? Bit blonde, bit mad. Anyway, yeah, many of the family stories that we were told as sort of legends, when I've re-examined them factually and with research, it's like, oh, you really were kidding. So I don't know, but I'm going to read you this article. I want to do an article about John Patterson's travesty of justice for trying to whistleblow on money laundering and pension draining and international skullduggery with Finchley Road, Hatton Garden, and many other locations. And Karen Irving being one of the most dangerous women in the UK. I'd probably put Sarah Phillimore alongside her, and there'd be a few more. And Steve Martin being probably the most disgraceful representative of the British police. And Ricky Dearman is just Ricky Dearman, you know. He's no longer a protected witness. That ended at the end of the 12-day fact-finding inquiry conducted by Justice Anna Pawley, because she named Ricky and Ella in her judgment. So bang, there goes your protected witness status, Ricky Dearman, aka Gabe Williams, aka Savinder Singh, aka, he's got plenty of aliases, but that protected witness thing is not going to fly anymore. Just going to make sure I've got cigarettes because I'm kind of shook by what I've just read. I'll give you the bottom line. They've arrested Ella Draper with a high-speed boat chase, which was normal. You know, even as children when we lived in Gibraltar, because Morocco to Europe, Gibraltar was the gateway, you know, it was quite common for high-speed customs chases on the seas. you know, to confiscate it. I'm going to have to either leave you hanging for a second, which I think I will, because if I pause, it might end the video. So just get a glass of wine or a cup of tea, and I'm going to get my cigarettes. Sorry, guys. Didn't plan on broadcasting today. Sorry, so unprofessional. I remember when I did a commentary video on, it might be Melanie Abbott's Radio 4 report on the protests outside Hampstead, Christchurch. By the way, Karen Irving has a sister, Wendy. Her husband, I believe, is on the board of trustees for Hampstead, Christchurch. Hampstead, Christchurch have hosted satanic bands that also featured in Comet Ping Pong. We had all the evidence back then, the red shoes, the human leather, the bone carving, the satanic bands and comedians, and the tattoo removals. We had it all, and it got brutally sabotaged and covered up. And John Patterson is just the latest who's been, because he caved and pleaded guilty, there was no casement file, there was no computer-generated case number. It was all unlawful without warrants. It was absolutely, but he spent 20 years in the Navy, and he, like many of us, was mind controlled into submission to authority. So he pleaded guilty, and he has been sentenced to an indefinite stay in psychiatric services at the whim of the British National Health Service. And I've been told before, don't go the psych route, because if they jail you, you at least are eligible for parole. But like Melanie Shaw, if they section you within the prison system, like at Rampton or Broadmoor and other places, it's at their discretion. They can just, like the Queen's cousins, you can just die there, and almost nobody will know who you are or what you stood for. So yeah, this is the kind of evil power that Karen Irving, Sarah Phillimore, Steve Martin, Ricky Dearman, you know, and the predator class inflict, in my opinion. So let me just read you this article, because now, if Ella is brought to court on drug smuggling charges of £150,000 worth of cannabis, they may not let her bring into evidence, they probably won't, if she goes along with those court proceedings, those fake proceedings, fake warrants, all the rest of it, then they definitely will say anything to do with your children is outside of your remit. You cannot, you're not allowed to discuss, you know, the satanic ritual abuse of your children and the trafficking of babies and the murdering and cannibalism and blood drinking and pornography. Check in Nikki Cooper on Facebook, Niki Cooper. check-in memory hold, check with Mouthy Buddha. So many people. I've been doing this for years, but like solo, you know, so I'm just so delighted that other people are now doing, you know, taking it to the next level. Good for you. Go for it. Go for it. But so grabbing Ella on a cannabis smuggling charge, they're getting too big for their boots. They're getting cocky. You know, they are getting, and all we can be grateful for is as they get arrogant or desperate or both, they will make mistakes. And they are making mistakes. Oh my God, right. I'm going to share here. Abraham Christie's very active on Instagram. He says I'm a troll or a government agent. But look, that kind of thing makes me think the children will never be rescued. They're 15 and 14 now. And if their mother's boyfriend, who's a genius, is still thinking the likes of me are agents, then what hope is there for rescuing the children? Right, now let me find this. Is this where I found it? Yeah. Cannabis resin with approximate street value of £150,000. This is 28th of May, 2021. And today's the 31st, so I'm actually a bit behind the news with this. Retrieved from sea by HM Customs following sea chase. Now, we now have video footage of the sea chase, which I have to say, when we lived in Gibraltar, when Dad was with the Royal Air Force, and we lived just, I think it was North Front, we lived on Eastern Beach, like just, you know, it was a regular thing that there would be dramatic chases. So I'll read it for you. The Customs Marine Unit was involved in 4 high-speed chases of suspect RHIBs transiting British Gibraltar territorial water on Thursday night. So this is Monday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. At around 10 a.m. on Friday morning, an off-duty officer alerted the department of various objects floating in the bay. And that was the other, you know, if you want the bottom line, just read the article. That was the other amazing thing for the 3 years we lived in Gibraltar. In many ways, it was the happiest time of my life. But there used to be things float ashore. There used to be beach treasure regularly. There would be like wooden trunks float ashore full of sponges. And there would be like, I don't know, like supplies from Navy ships. There was all sorts of weird contraband and treasure that would float ashore on the beaches in Gibraltar. And when you were living there and you were a child, of course, it was just like mad excitement. It was like Treasure Island. It was like, I suppose it was like Cornwall, you know? Right, okay, so various objects floating in the bay. HMC Searcher retrieved a bale of cannabis resin weighing 33 kilos. Now, look at that. That's a funny number, isn't it? This might be another Freemasonic staged event. 33 kilos, really? A medical kit bag and 2 jerry cans. If they'd have arrested Ella or Abraham, connected to the alleged satanic ritual abuse in the Hampstead paedophile ring, then Abraham or Ella or both would have been able to bring all their evidence to court. And of course, given that the disclosures were made in August 2014, this is nearly 7 years later, they did not want to arrest Abraham or Ella on any such grounds because their incontrovertible evidence would prove the children's disclosures. So how clever is this to bust them for cannabis trafficking, which I believe is a herb and medicinal, and I have personal experience of surviving, what was prognosticized as end-stage ovarian cancer with 3 months to live. That was 2014. I'm still here. At around 10 a.m. on Friday morning, an off-duty officer alerted the department of various objects floating in the bay. HMC searcher retrieved a bale of cannabis, right, okay, 33 kilos, a medical kit bag and 2 jerry cans. And all objects retrieved from the sea were found to be in the same area where the chases took place. Now, this will probably end up being a failed court case because nobody can prove, even if the objects were floating all around the chase, nobody can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they were connected. The cannabis resin has an approximate street value of 150,000. Now let's watch this chase on video. Oh, it stopped. I wonder why. Let's see if we can restart it. No, I think that's the end of it. I've had my computer all cleaned up. Right, and I became, let's read the rest of the article. Okay. And a UK national resident in Spain has been arrested by customs for possession and importation of cannabis resin relating to 2 separate incidents. Now that's interesting. They must have been stalking her to get her on the cannabis count rather than helping her children disclose satanic ritual abuse. Wow. Ella Draper was remanded, oh my God, remanded in custody when a package weighing over 1 kilo was found in her vehicle. 1 kilo of cannabis, come on, guys. Like, I'm anti-drugs, but look, oh my God. The arrest follows an investigation that began in April when 2 packages containing a combined weight of 3.6 kilos of cannabis resin were seized by the controls section. These were being sent by counter to a UK address under false names. Okay, I know some people object to cannabis. I don't. Although I object to if you're so laid back, you're horizontal, you're missing your potential in life. You're just missing, all things in moderation, the Bible says. But it's a herb and it's in the Bible and it's medicinal. Oh my God. So resin were seized by the control section. Yeah, so they're being sent by courier to a UK address. So if Ella was involved in dealing, I kind of doubt that, although Abraham's a doctor. He's got an honorary doctorate for his studies in hemp and cannabis as a healing product. Right, let me see here. Yeah. Under false names. Officers of the investigation branch were able to determine the identity of the woman concerned and then circulated the information. I bet they did, because not only was she loosely connected to some herbal remedy movement, she is the mother of the Hampstead children who tried to facilitate their disclosures. Now, I became very unpopular in the Hampstead research community because I got red flags quite early on that Ella was not just an innocent, aggrieved mother. There's more to the story. Danielle La Verite, Danielle George, connected with Sarah, Rachel Adams, Miles Johnston, Max Spears, the Basis Projects, I suspect international distribution of pornography. But she was quite a truther back in the day. And she said, if you want to get to the bottom of the Hampstead case, look at the mother. So all is not as it seems there, but I still believe the children, you know. And I have said on record in the past, up to 20% of their disclosures might have been coached out of loyalty to their mother, their mainly protective mother. But there is some shade around the case. I've never denied that. But this is a setup to me. This is a setup. Of course, they don't want to bring Ella in on Hampstead satanic ritual abuse connected charges, because then she would be allowed discovery. She would be allowed to bring her evidence on the Hampstead allegations dating back to August 2014. So, you know, this is like, what is it, when you shoot goldfish in a bowl? This is like, that's easy. You know, she uses hemp. Abraham's a big international hemp proponent. Let's get her on that. Let's stage a dramatic Gibraltarian chase on the sea and like, oh my gosh, you know, we've got £150,000 worth. Shut up, in my opinion. All right. Officers of the investigation branch, the identity. The 48-year-old's arrest on the 26th of May comes following collaboration between, I bet, Freemasons. No, it says enforcement officers and the flexible, are you having a laugh? Flexible anti-smuggling team and dog section. The case has been adjourned until the 1st of June, which is Tuesday. I wonder if they've remanded Ella in custody. Yeah, has been arrested. She's been remanded in custody. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you another story just while I'm here about drug smuggling from Morocco. I went to live in Marbella in 1982. And before that, I think when I was just registering for university at Warwick, so that would have been 78, a school friend of mine, Jane Wilkinson, she'd gone off working on yachts as a chef. She'd taken like a year out, gap year, we used to call it. So Jane Wilkinson went off on a gap year and was a chef on luxury yachts. And she contacted me in 1978. I think I went for a holiday to Gibraltar before I started university in 1978. So I don't know how we knew that I was in Gib and she was in Port-au-Banús, but she contacted me and she said, oh my goodness, I'm working in Marbella, I'm in Port-au-Banús, why don't you come and visit? And I'm like, well, I think the border was still closed. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. But anyway, I just said, like, I'm not sure how I would get from Gibraltar to Port-au-Banús, but I'm here for 2 weeks. So then she contacted me again and she said, oh, we're going to collect you. She said, I've got, I'm friends with lots of people in Port-au-Banús. This was 1982. It was really lovely back then. It wasn't quite so Costa del Crime. And she said, I've got a friend with a yacht and we'll come collect you from Gibraltar. So they sailed over, or whatever they did, from Gib to Gibraltar, from Port-au-Banús to Gibraltar on a 40-foot ketch. And then I met them at the marina, which wasn't really very well developed right there, but let's come out of this. Wasn't really well developed back then. So I met them down at Gibraltar Marina, and I think I was in Gib for like 2 weeks, and then I was due to go back and like go to Warwick University. And I met them down at the port, and then they're like, and then the guy, Ian, I think his name was Ian, I can't remember his name. But anyway, the guy was like, I think we're going to sail back. He's like, I'm not going to use, I guess it was cheaper. The weather was perfect to set the sails and just have a lovely meander back from Jib to Port-au-Prince on a 40-foot ketch, just stunning. So we ran around the port and we got salami in crusty rolls and vodka and orange juice and ice, and just had this lovely, amazing trip planned. And he just said, you know, you're not in any rush. You're going to come and stay in, you know, Port-au-Prince for a week. So let's enjoy the sail, which we did. And yeah, the only strange. What age was I when I went to university? 21. So the only strange thing, and Jane Wilkinson from Bradford-on-Avon was really straight-laced when I knew her at school, Fitzmaurice Grammar. But the only strange thing was, like, about 2 hours into the sail, he's like, you know what, we're very relaxed here. Like, you know, there's nothing sexual, but if you want to strip off and just sail naked, it's going to take a while. And it took 8 hours. The sail took 8 hours. So 21, I was like, all right then. So I went birthday suit for the sailing and the sunbathing, and there were dolphins accompanying us. It was probably a highlight of my life. It was one of the most magical, beautiful journeys. It was an 8-hour sail in a 40-foot ketch from Gibraltar to Port-au-Prince, and a couple of hours in, we got butt naked. But the hilarious thing was, when we arrived in Port-au-Prince, and then, you know, we got dressed again, nothing happened, right? We just had loads of vodka, like, you know, what do you call it? What do you call vodka and orange? I don't know. It was something it was called, but loads of ice, loads of salami, crusty roll, gorgeous, gorgeous journey. Nothing going on. But so we all got dressed and we docked, and he was like teaching me how to throw out these fucking things and tie them up and all that shit. And then we went for a beer, and I went to sit on a bar stool in Port-au-Prince in 1982. My buttocks were sunburned, and I was like, I could hardly sit down. But the point, I shouldn't be laughing, because if Ella's locked up on cannabis, that's so evil. Just like John Patterson being locked up on mental health, that's so evil. But the point I was trying to make was that English guy that had a contract as a captain of this 40-foot ketch, and the boat's owner only came once a year. And then, you know, so for the rest of the year, this guy, I can't remember his name, but anyway, his job was to keep the yacht in good condition. And then when the owner came once a year for a month, then they'd go sailing around the Balearic Islands or wherever they'd go, and deep sea coral fishing, this, that, and the other. And that was his job, and he was paid for that. But he got greedy or bored or both. And after I'd left Marbella, Port-au-Prince, Estepona, all around there, Costa del Crime, about a year later, there was a sting done on him. So he got bored and thought, right, 11 months of the year, I'm in charge of this yacht. I've got a retainer. Let me just do one deal that will build me a house back in England or set me up, or, you know, the way you get sucked in. So he did a huge cannabis purchase in Morocco. And something I know about Moroccans, I'm sorry to say this, don't call me racist, but certainly from all the mythology around drug dealing from Morocco, is that they were the kings of double deals. So they would sell you the cannabis in Morocco, and then they would phone ahead to Gibraltar or wherever it was and tip off that you were due to arrive with X amount of cannabis. And then they'd get a payoff both ends. They'd have sold it at a really good price to you. Then they'd have got a payoff for snitching. So this is what happened to that guy who collected me from Gibraltar. And he did make me clean the decks for a few days. I'm not a deckhand, but he's like, I've just gone to Gibraltar and collected you to see your school friend. Clean the fucking decks. So I did that for a couple of days, and then I managed to find somewhere to stay anyway. Fell on my feet, as I was wont. But a year later or so, and you can find this in the newspapers if you're a good researcher, he decided, right, my boss isn't due for 8 months or something. I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs in Port-au-Banús, and he went to Morocco. He loaded up the yacht with cannabis, and he set off for Dover. But he'd been set up, and the News of the World, I think it was, oh, wow, Brian, wow, check this out. I think it was the News of the World that was waiting for him. So as he sailed into Dover, thinking, this is the deal of a lifetime, I'll never do it again, but this is going to set me up. Way before he got to dock, the newspapers were there. And he got 7 years. They found a vast amount of cannabis on his yacht, which wasn't his yacht. He was just the captain of the yacht for the millionaire owner that only came once a year. But the thing that struck me was the setup, because even as a child, I was familiar with that, with the Moroccan thing, which was they were the masters of the double deal. So, and I'll just say on Ella as well, I will say something which is factual. I'm enjoying Guidance putting out original material from 2015 recordings and all sorts. And I know that Brian Harvey, who I do trust and respect, but he considers Guidance one of his worst trolls, which is sad and upsetting to me. But like, I can't solve everything. But with what was I going to say with Guidance? With Ella. So I had the tip off from Daniel Laverite. If you want to solve the Hampstead case, look at the mother. Then I had the Joe Fantonda interviews, which are poor audio, but he gave me permission to record and release. And he tried to make out she was a piranha parent, and he's the international, the world expert on parental alienation. But parental alienation, in my opinion, is a bit like the Kinsey report or satanic panic. It's a cover-up. It's I know there is such a thing, but it was weaponized as a cover-up to take children from protective, mostly mothers. So yeah, Danielle Laverity gave the first tip off. Carolyn Cottier gave the second tip off and said that video footage was found implicating Ella, although not anything like on the level of Ricky and co. And so on and so forth. Look, guys, this is deep, but there's a thing in Ireland coming out, Coco's Law, and there's rumor abroad that they will get me on that. Look, like, how dare this judge in the UK say to John Patterson, you should have got 5 to 15 years for alleged stalking and malicious communications, but I'm going to be nice to you and section you indefinitely, like the Queen's cousins and Melanie Shaw. Just, this is out of control, and if we don't take action, I think there's a window of opportunity for the next June, July, August, 3 months. And I do believe the Book of Revelations, and I do believe certain things will come to pass, but we're told to occupy until Jesus comes again. And occupying does not involve people like Karen Irving, Ricky Dearman and Steve Martin decimating people's lives, including my own. Bleeding Heart, if you listen, you putting El Coyote, Karen Irving, on a pedestal, she destroyed my life and my reputation and my network of support. I would call her one of the most, if you remember the Mistresses of the Revels, it was an article done by Field McConnell and David Hawkins. And it mentioned people like David Cameron's wife and you know, the Astors, different women, because women are huge in the occult, in the satanic world. The women, there's this sort of matriarchy thing going on. And Karen Irving, I remember Eddie at Southwark Crown Court at Sabine's trial, being amazed. He said, this Karen Irving is running the show. She's directing the barristers. She's directing the security teams. She almost seems to be directing the judge. And she was. This woman was a social worker. This woman is a published author on the subject of adoption. Her good buddy, Sarah Phillimore, is well known for acting as a solicitor for social services in secret family courts that take children. Just, you know, I just think like I could play cautious and say, let me never mention the Hampstead case again, as John Patterson is now condemned, unless we manage to expose the corruption. He not only is condemned to indefinite mental health sectioning and forced medicating, but a predictable lifetime ban. Not allowed to mention Ricky Dearman, Karen Irving, or Steve Martin. Just like Melanie Shaw is languishing, having tried to expose VIP paedophile rings and murders in the British care system. You know, it's just devastating. So I'm just bringing you that news, and I will do my May update. Can't believe it's June on Tuesday. And please pray for Ella. The other thing I wanted to say, right, just to, for a record, and I know Abraham Christie is all over Instagram saying Brian Harvey's an agent, I'm an agent, operative, blah, blah, blah. And that makes me sad, like I said, because if the person that interviewed the children, don't listen to the police disclosure retraction videos. Find the original disclosures. Please, they are there. Check out the legendarycampaign.com. There's all sorts of, you can find them if you're, you know, the Bible says you will find me if you seek me with all your heart. If you seek with all your heart, you'll find the original 19 disclosure videos, plus the Jean Clement recordings of the children, not the police disclosures, retractions, which were discredited by the Independent Police Complaints Commission, and nobody knows who released them. You know, so don't go on that. And also find the eBay promotional video from 2017 where Ricky paraded the children back into the public arena and then flew to Ireland to say it was my fault for identifying them, you know, which was actually done by Hampstead Research. Bleeding Heart, you're in Dublin. I'll meet you. I'm an hour from you. You're welcome to my little office, my cabin, or I'll drive to Dublin and meet you. But if you keep Karen Irving on a pedestal, El Coyote, you are a paedophile protector. You are a Satanist apologist, in my opinion. So God bless Ella, remanded in custody till I think it said the 2nd of June. This is such a stitch up. It's such a walk in the park. We won't find her and arrest her for allegedly being a fugitive from the Hampstead satanic ritual abuse fact-finding mission. No, let's get her on medicinal cannabis grounds where she won't be able to say anything about her children. Whoever's close to Ella, please let her know about the Facebook group Security by Way of Aline. Please let her know about Baron David Ward's work. Please let her know about Andy Devine and Anthony Baddelow's work. And I got a shocking other piece of information from Guidance 2222, which was that when Ella fled out of the window, when there were 9 policemen outside, about to disappear her, and she, at her parents' insistence, grabbed her passport and fled. Guidance says she fled to Belinda's, and Belinda funded her exit from the UK. Now, when I interviewed Ella and Abraham weekly back in the day, and I said to Ella, oh, do you regret bringing the children back to London now? Like, I know you wanted to help the other children, but like, don't you wish you'd got them to safety, given that they've been kidnapped? And she said, oh, no, I wanted to get them to Russia, but when I tried to use my credit card for the flights, it wouldn't work. So from Morocco, Ella wanted to fly Elisa and Gabriel direct to her parents in Russia. But Will Draper, whose name she goes by, the father of James, an alleged member of the cult, financial expert, banker, etc., had stopped his child maintenance payments. And when Ella went to pay flights for the children to go to their grandparents from Morocco, the card wouldn't clear. And when I told Belinda that, before I suspected that she was MI5 and Eastern Star, when I told her that Ella actually had tried to get the children straight to Russia, she said, oh, for goodness sake, if she'd just called me, I would have paid for it. So according to Guidance, when Ella escaped out of the window of the house with 9 coppers, probably illegal, unlawful, with no warrant, were stalking her outside and intimidating her, she went to Belinda's and Belinda got her free. And the other time Belinda's done that is for the grandson of, what's his name? Oh God, it's this African guy. It's the thorn in the side of Yolanda Kenwood, aka Lindridge, aka Gordon. She was helping the grandson of some African dictator, and they had taken refuge in an embassy, and Belinda took over, and she got the mother and the grandson out of the country with the help of Theresa May, I believe, and maybe Anne Widdecombe too. These Eastern Star women in politics or MI5 or whatever, oh my goodness, you watch them work, you watch them operate. What the hell was that guy's name? I'm sure Yolanda will come in the comments and tell me what it was. But this was the biggest beef between Yolanda and Belinda, who were arch enemies and competitors, like with Anne Widdecombe too, in the Eastern Star circle, was that Belinda facilitated rescuing them from the embassy that they were hiding out in. I hate when my mind goes blank, but never mind. And getting them out of the country. And Yolanda was just enraged, and possibly rightly so, because when they got back to Uganda or wherever they were from, they were once again in danger, in extreme danger. I'll put it in the comments because it will come to me after I've recorded. So yeah, I'm loving that people are coming forward to untangle the mess. And I'm even considering, not for the first time, that even though Shiva Burton has been probably the right-hand woman of Karen Irving and Ricky Dearman in destroying my life and reputation and community network, but if she's a genuine survivor, she would be in my opinion now, absolutely correct in saying that the likes of David Icke, Bill Maloney, Belinda McKenzie infiltrated and took over the child sexual abuse truth movement. So that's it, over and out. It's a lovely sunny day. I drove 5 hours today. Oh my goodness. And we're told we've got a heat wave in Ireland for 5 to 10 days, and then that's our summer over. So I got some vitamin D. Love to everybody. I will do a May update. I will catch up on stuff, but I just had to bring you, and I'm sorry it's even a few days old. I had visitors from England since last Wednesday, and no computer, and a car broke down, phone broke down, everything broke down. But sometimes it's good to just take a breath and go. But please pray for Ella, because even though I don't think she's lily white, I don't believe she's anywhere close to the likes of Ricky Dearman, Mr. Hollings, Mrs., all the 70 people that the children named in their disclosures. Father Paul, the headmistress, all the special needs teachers, all those staff that hightailed it off to Devon until the dust settled. And just listen to Nikki Cooper's last live stream. These kind of people are being prosecuted and convicted, but the mainstream media doesn't report it. And even whistleblowers are scared to, because look what happened to Sabine McNeil, 9 years. Look what happened to John Patterson, indefinitely sectioned. Look what happened to Melanie Shaw, indefinitely sectioned, forced medicated. Look what's happened to so many whistleblowers. So mostly I'd ask you for your prayers. God bless. Bye. Subscribe to my blog, angelascaches.org. No apostrophe, Angelas, CACHES.org. And my YouTube channel's Angie Power Disney. That's the same on Twitter. I'm on YouTube at the moment. I lost my main channel with almost 500,000 hits. But look, stay in touch, guys. That's all I'm asking. Facebook is my most daily blogging thing. Angela Teresa Power Disney. God bless and love you all. Bye. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy pray for sure. But while we're locked down and we can't travel, and, if you get some vitamin D, grab it. There's not a chemtrail in the sky today. Love you all, and please pray for John Patterson too. This can't stand. This cannot stand what they're doing to John Patterson and what they're still doing to Melanie Shaw. Can't stand. Love you.